Hello family, today I want to talk about why moving back to Zimbabwe is harder than people think. Nobody warned me. It was few years ago, family. The dream that pulled me back, my husband had gone to Zimbabwe. He was living there, I think for maybe a year or so. And he had a piggery and 2 kombis. And from outside, things were looking promising, and I believed we were setting up our future and life would be easier together, I thought. So you won't believe, family, that I sold my house. I even sold the house, family, thinking that I'm going to live with my husband and life was going to be good. But family, nobody warned me that businesses drain fast. Kombis, they break down. There were so many breakdowns, and to the extent that the money that we were getting there was not even enough to repair the breakdown. And there were fuel issues as well. Sometimes the money the kombis were getting was not even enough to supply the fuel for the business. Repairs, repairs never ended. Daily cash pressure. And the piggery, the feed, you know, they had a field, but the field was not enough, and the yield from the field was not even was not even a quarter of what we expected to feed the piggery the whole year. It was almost nothing, but the cost of the cost of the feed was very, very high. And you know, when you have piggery, when you run piggery, they need some vaccines as well. They need to be looked after. And then the costs were so high. The costs were so high. And then we talk of the diseases as well. Zvirwere, zvinouya, nguruve dzinoita zvirwere, so they need to be protected at all times. And then we talk about the risk of theft as well. So we had 2 people looking after this project, and in the city we also had 2 people running the project of the kombis. We can talk of unstable markets, family. The unstable markets for the piggery industry. Even if you sell, the money that you get, that little money that you get, it disappears very, very fast. And then the market as well. You take your pigs to the market, but they wouldn't pay you at that time. They would say we'll pay you next month becomes next month, until you just don't say anything about it, until you stop going there. You know, nobody warned me about no steady income, no guaranteed monthly pay. There's no monthly pay. When you go back and you think you've got a project, there's no monthly pay, family. Some months nothing comes because the kombis are broken down, and savings, family savings, they finish really quick. The savings finish really quick. Name about emergencies. I remember I went ill the other time. Sometimes, you know, you have to heal indoors. You have a headache, and then that headache would end up healing indoors, just taking paracetamol, because you look at your pocket and then you can see that there's nothing. And then emergencies hit you already while you are struggling. That's the reality when emergencies hit when you are struggling. And the stress replaces excitement. Honestly, the excitement was replaced by the stress. I was stressed, family, I don't want to lie. I was really, really stressed. And you know, sometimes it ends up affecting the relationship between the 2 of you. Nobody warned me about systems. You know, when you are in the city, the systems, there's power cuts. These power cuts, they affect everything. Even whatever business you'll be doing indoors, it affects everything. And sometimes we were thinking of freezing, those freezers, and sell them. But because of the power cuts, you find that it will become a failure. Water problems, sometimes it was affecting livestock because the well, we were using a well, and it was running short of water as well. When it was in hot weather, the well was running short. So the water problems were affecting the livestock. Fuel shortages sometimes were stopping operations. Fuel problems were stopping operations. Sometimes you go to a queue which is very, very long, waiting for fuel. And then the whole day, you find the guys were waiting for fuel. And then you end up just leaving it on for the day, and then you go for the next day, and then nothing comes out. So you find that it was very difficult, family. It was very difficult when you spoke of fuel, especially for the kombis. It was very, very difficult. And then the kombis were like, they were alternating. One would be on the road and the other one would be resting. One would be on the road and the other one would be resting, because we were having two guys managing the kombis. So the repairs as well, they used to take longer because we didn't have our own engineer. You would go to somebody and ask for them to help you, and they would say they are busy. So you find the repairs, they would take longer than expected. And then you spend longer solving basic problems. So most of the time, it was just like solving basic problems. And it was just like a nightmare, family. It was just like a nightmare. And nobody warned me about social pressure, family, social pressure. People think you are rich because you lived abroad. People think you are rich. When you live abroad, people always think that you are rich. But that's not the case, family. That's not the case. You will not even have money. Family expectations, a friend's expectations, and the community expectations as well. Saying I don't have feels shameful. You say I don't have, it feels shameful, family. But there's more money. The money was not there. But sometimes someone will come and ask, and then you have you feel like you have an obligation to help. You have an obligation to help, and then it will be a problem to say I don't have, because you'll be feeling ashamed until the money is almost nothing left. That was the problem now that crept in. And nobody warned me about marriage pressure. There was marriage pressure, family. Business stress enters the marriage. That's what happens. When you are stressed in business, it affects your marriage. Sometimes you would go like you're not talking, you are not speaking, because it's the stress from the business that's entering the marriage. And the financial strain as well causes a lot of tension. If you are stretched financially, honestly, it causes a lot of tension in the family, in the between the two of you. It was a nightmare, family. It was a nightmare. You hear me talking about it like this. It was not easy. Conversations become arguments. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, family. I think most of you know what I'm trying to say. The conversations between me and my husband became arguments. Any little thing will become an argument. You feel guilty for doubting the move, and then silence replaces peace. Then you choose to be silent, because you see that if you are not silent, then there is noise. And then what are you going to achieve? You just have to be silent, because if you want peace, that's how you end up doing silence, family. And nobody warned me as well about mental health. Constant worry, family, constant worry, sleepless nights, anxiety about money. Family, I remember one day I woke up with a splitting headache because I was constantly thinking about money. Because you see that the pocket is getting empty. You actually see that this little money we have and there's nothing coming from the business. You end up thinking, so what are we going to do? What are we going to do tomorrow? How are we going to manage? Sometimes you think, are we going to be able to buy food? There's fear of admitting it's not working. There's also fear like that. You don't want to admit that these things are not working. You just continue to think, oh, maybe it will work. Maybe if we continue, if we persist, if we carry on, maybe it will work. But then family, it was just something very difficult. Something very difficult. There's nothing as difficult as missing stability that you once had. There's nothing as difficult that. You know, I'm coming from abroad. We are coming from abroad. We had our own stability. We used to be a happy family. But all of a sudden, we are home thinking that when we get there, we are together, we run our business, we do well as others are doing. And then you find yourself in that situation. It was difficult, family. Nobody even warned me about pride. About pride, family. It's hard to admit things are failing. It's very difficult. It's very, very difficult to admit that things are failing. Only few people can admit that things are failing, especially some men. Like, it was difficult for my husband to admit that things were failing. It was very difficult for him to admit that. Sorry, family. It was very difficult for him to admit that things were failing. People back home, they watch. And then the ones abroad, they'll be watching as well. And you don't want to look like you made a mistake. Pride can keep you stuck too long. That's the problem, family. Pride will keep you stuck too long. But the moment I knew there was a problem, honestly, family, I had to leave. I realized love for home is not enough. Love for home was not enough, family. Hard work alone is not enough. Wanting it to work doesn't guarantee success. You may want it to work, but it doesn't guarantee that you're going to succeed. I really wanted it to work. My hubby wanted it to work, but we were failing. Our mental health was suffering. Both of us, it was really suffering, family. I chose myself and my future, and my husband decided to do the same. And family, I came back first. I came back running. Like I said, I came back running. And then my husband followed. It was not easy, family. I'm laughing about it now, but it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. So, family, let me clarify this. This is my personal experience. Not everyone fails. Some people succeed. Actually, a lot of people, they do succeed when they go back home. And some people are thriving as we speak. They went back home, they never looked back, and they never came back. They are thriving as I speak. So different journeys, different outcomes. So this is my personal story. And lessons that I learned, I want others to learn. Don't sell everything too quickly. And this is exactly what I did. Like I said, I sold my house. Test life on the ground first. Go there first, test the life, and see how you can do it. And if you think it's going on well, then take one step at a time, one day at a time, and then carry on. Have a strong plan B as well. We never had a plan B. We just went and we thought everything was going to be good, but no. So prepare emotionally, not just financially. Ask people who failed, not only those who succeeded. So like me, I'm telling my story because we failed first time. But it doesn't mean to say we will fail again. It doesn't mean to say we will fail again, family, because we'll still go back home, because home is home. I love my country. I love my country, Zimbabwe. And it doesn't mean to say living there permanently is loving it. Preparation is everything. A plan B is not betrayal. Sometimes living is survival, not failure. Nobody warned me, but now I'm warning you so you can prepare better, family. I'm warning you so you can prepare better, because my journey, I had no warning from anybody. Not even a single person spoke about going back home and coming back. Not even a single person spoke about anything. So family, I've warned you, and this is my personal story. Thank you.